You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, King Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Basketball Wives After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Basketball Wives After Show.
Yes, it is. Bing is for doing, and we are definitely doing another AfterBuzz TV show inside the AfterBuzz studios. I cannot believe we finally got to this point, Basketball Wives, this season finale.
Yes.
Even when I was texting with the rest of the group, the finale is tonight. Finale is tonight. I mean, I'm still on the Tahiti drama. I didn't know that was gonna we'd get here as fast as we did, but we did. And as I was saying, Bing is for doing Basketball Wives season number 4, episode 15, finale style. I cannot believe it, but let's Bing it around this room. And you guys know me here at AfterBuzz, Ronnie Jr. I'm always here hanging out, but I'm like super lucky to have MissHollyHoops.net, Rebecca Prince,
hi guys,
hanging with us. And we saw her a couple weeks ago, and Stanley, you know, came on back.
I'm back. I love you guys. So I'm doing the game, AfterBuzz TV After Show.
She's the BT's the game after show. You have great conversation, and then she says, "Oh, I also like Basketball Wives." So we text all day too. I mean,
not
it's
like love.
Oh, okay. So you're not liking it, the status
and
update.
the two shows, they kind of go hand in hand.
They do.
I mean, you know,
they do. They definitely.
One's fictional and one is just reality.
Yeah. I know, and it's almost like, are the reality shows copying the scripted, or is the scripted copying the reality? Because there's some mix. I mean, not 100%.
I honestly think there's less drama on the scripted show, the game.
I mean, that's where we got it. It is sort of crazy. Before we start talking about Basketball Wives, the finale that, you know, is a huge Twitter trending topic, the whole deal. Last week we discovered, you know, Tammy jumping on and off Twitter. I mean, they're really getting there as far as their presence online. I do want to, you know, get into the episode, but I wanted to say I think it's really cool. MTV Gifting Suite, of course, is this week. You two are not strangers of doing these types of activities. AfterBuzz, we do a couple of them, and we're doing another one, MTV Movie Awards style. So that's going to be this week, Thursday and Friday. Cool. And all, you know, if you're an AfterBuzz fan, you know, you're the iTunes world and you download us, which a lot of people do. We appreciate that. Continue to do that, actually, while we're talking about that.
Yeah,
continue,
we love our iTunes
subscribers. You know what I love about the iTuners as well, YouTubers, everyone who really does follow us, the live stream people as well, is they give us their perspective of the communication, because legitimately, myself, Ronnie, Rebecca, Stanley, we just watched the episode, so we're just like we're saying what's in our heart, you know, after watching the episode. Right. So you guys hold us down, and we appreciate that. So continue to comment and rate, and that way our iTunes numbers could get up. It was kind of nice when we were in the top 4. You know?
It was nice. Feels good.
We all got really excited. Yeah, we all Instagrammed it. I mean, we really, you know, it was nice. You guys noticed Spicy Madi and Fallon are not with us today, but they are going to kick off. Well, you know, it's Memorial Day weekend, and they did their Vegas thing, so that's okay. They will, just as a plug, you know, you do the game. They will be doing the VH1 Single Ladies show on AfterBuzz with our Lauren Turner. So
awesome. All
that said, I am really excited to talk about. I really just termed it as Tahiti drama. I was kind of like you, Rebecca, where I don't write many notes because we're just watching now. Like we've invested in the story. What were you guys' thoughts on just spilling over to from last week? Jen's walking away.
Well, you know, last week we were on the show, of course, and we were talking about the sort of ambush confrontation of Jennifer by Evelyn, and it ended with Jen running away and Evelyn chasing behind her, and then we saw Evelyn crying in the previews, and basically not much happens. I mean, they continued to, you know, disagree with one another. Shaunie went to go and try and make her peace with Jen, but overall, I mean, me and Fallon last week had a little bet. Fallon thought in her predictions that, you know, Jen and Evelyn were going to be able to smooth things out and be friends again from this point. And I said she was crazy, and she was totally wrong. She bet me that she would wear a bikini if she was wrong. So next week for the reunion show, Fallon might be in a bikini because clearly she was wrong.
I think she was in a bikini all weekend in Vegas, so maybe she was getting it ready.
She's probably...
That's fabulous, and we're going to get huge ratings.
Yeah, good.
For the reunion
right?
shows.
We definitely... Yeah, that was the bet, and you called it out the other way, huh?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we've seen... 15 or last week we saw 14 episodes. This week we saw 15 episodes. The biggest storyline this entire season has been Jennifer and Evelyn fighting.
Right.
And, you know, I've said it time and time again, they're beating a dead horse. And that's literally what continues to happen. I mean, I agree with Jennifer. Like, you have to get to a point where you're like, I'm just done. I don't care anymore, because they're not going to agree. And whether, you know, Jen needs to own up and say that she was wrong, which she probably is, and Evelyn, you know, neither of them are going to agree with each other at
What'd
this
you guys
point.
think of that?
But there was a lot that came out in this episode. I agree with you. It's the same cat fighting, but when Evelyn starts talking about the specifics, I thought
unprotected
this was so
sex, where
juicy.
they're throwing all this information out. I mean, that's,
I mean, it's none of our business, and I really would have preferred not to hear it. But in terms of like the episode, no one's ever really got this specific on reality TV, where she's talking about
that's the same thought I sort of had too. I said, you know, they air all their dirty laundry out there, but just to say it the way Evelyn did, I mean, I don't.
But
That's
I don't
a whole
know.
new level.
I don't know if that was really necessary, to be honest. Because
from Evelyn.
From Evelyn, just because to me it got to a point where like she's mad at Jennifer for Jennifer not owning up to saying what she did in the radio show, saying what she did in her blog, saying what she did on her Twitter. That's what she's mad at Jennifer for not owning up to that. I don't understand what being mad at her about those things has to do with who she may or may not have had unprotected sex with in Vegas. And like, you know, I get her point of like, you're trying to make me look bad because I'm with Chad now after all of this, but you're just as bad. But it's like, it's that tit for tat, and it doesn't.
Something came out. I want to see what you guys thought about this when Evelyn mentioned the guy that Jen slept with in Vegas. You remember when Evelyn took the rap for that? And everyone was thinking that Evelyn slept with a guy in Vegas and she was covering for Jen. So I think Evelyn's really mad at herself. Evelyn now has this reputation of being loose or being...
But maybe Evelyn did sleep with someone else in Vegas, too.
True.
And I think, well, because in this episode, she did mention, like, oh, I'm taking the rap for your shit. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my language.
Yeah.
And so I think she feels like Jen is winning. And I think Evelyn's mad at herself because she feels like it's a competition. Like, Jen is looking better, so now I have to make her look as bad as I do being loose. And I mean, she did a really bad job about it.
And that's why
she
gets
making herself
she starts
look
to
really
scream.
petty and
She looks petty, and then she starts to scream and say, "Well, I owned up to what I did.
Right,
you're
not perfect."
It's weird because you know.
But it's like nobody's perfect. We all know that, but you
Exactly.
also don't want your best friend, like the second you guys have, you know, an altercation or a disagreement, to then tell all your business.
It's sort of scary to think of like the close bonds everyone has, and then all of a sudden you beef it out on a reality show.
And Jen said that when Shaunie came to her room and was talking to her about, okay, I think this is why Evelyn's getting so mad because you're tweeting and this and that. She was like, look, if it's coming to like who said what, I could throw some things in there.
Totally.
Because that's the thing. Jen is kind of going the classy route and just being like, okay, you can keep on saying this, but she has some stuff on Evelyn that we don't know about.
Yeah.
But just like you were saying, friends don't do that, regardless of if you're so loyal, 14 years, even when it's done.
Right. Well, Evelyn kept saying, what was she saying? Like, I'm going to be ride or die with my friends till the end.
Die,
so how does that work now with Jen? It's just you ride or die until this moment.
She said, oh, she ain't that B.
Oh, so she's not, okay.
Yeah.
She ain't about that life.
I feel like, you know, when we were talking about iTunes conversations, I feel like the conversation I would like people to, you know, start writing on our message boards or whatnot, it is really about Evelyn, because I feel like people do like and adore and appreciate her, but this stuff right here is so tough to watch. And you know, I wasn't really a huge Jen fan from the beginning. I wasn't into the I'm removing the negative people from my life and Jennifer, you know, like just I was a little in agreement that she's too, I don't want to say she's too bougie or whatnot. I just I see that point of her, but I just also I'm like, gosh, leave her alone too now. I mean, that's
because it's the same conversation. Like, you know, maybe if we had like new dirt about Jennifer or something, like
this was new
dirt, but but it wasn't relevant to like the fight. That's what what I mean. Like, if we had, because that's the thing, everyone's like, Shaunie says, I've never seen these tweets that were sent, or this, you know, like, but if we had
another
something,
layer,
if we had something new to like unfold, and it's not just about like the fact that she said Chad's an attention whore, and then maybe or may not have written this blog, you know, it's just all that kind of stuff. You're like, hey, it's the same conversation. So either move on and agree that you are both wrong. You've both done things in your past. You both handled the situation wrong. Because I follow Evelyn on Twitter, and like, listen, she does. I read some of her comments, and I'm like, okay, this is a little underhanded tweet going at her. You know, I mean, I don't see Jennifer doing that. All I ever see Jennifer talking about on Twitter is her dang lip gloss.
Yeah, well, she's trying to get to that businesswoman thing. And if you are a businesswoman and, you know, she's obviously trying to sell the lip line or whatnot.
The 4
Speaking of selling things.
Oh, Rebecca, are you going to tell me a Memorial Day story here about
I'm
selling?
I'm going to tell you a Memorial Day story. You know, we
Fresh
at
from
AfterBuzz
the beach. She's got her tan over there.
I don't have enough of a tan. We at AfterBuzz TV, of course, appreciate all the support and all the fans checking us out every week, but it does cost money to maintain these beautiful studios and keep us on the air and streaming live. I mean, 43 shows and counting that you guys do.
Yeah. Oh, thanks to Marissa, our engineer. I mean, she's out doing all
busy.
47 shows.
That's what nobody else is working on Memorial Day, but we're here, guys. But
we love it. We do love it.
Yeah. So if you want to help give back and you appreciate what we're doing, you can, you know, go and shop on Amazon using the AfterBuzz TV affiliate program. So basically, before you go shop online at Amazon, first go to AfterBuzzTV.com and then click on the Amazon banner that's at the top of the page. Then you can go shop freely, and it's not like we're promoting anything, but any purchases you make using, you know, the AfterBuzz TV banner, we'll get a little kickback here, and then we could keep things nice.
How I utilized it, you guys, I was telling you, I was telling the other AfterBuzzers, I lost my iPod in the true Ronnie form. I just misplaced things. So I had to get my new iPod, and that's kind of how I did it. But the thing I didn't do, which there's always an option to do this through Amazon and everything, was buy Kenya's music. And I was like, I'm not touching the iTunes Kenya music. I'll buy the lip gloss for the two of you, should you two want it, but I'm not going... You know,
well, that's good, because then, you know, hopefully our iTunes viewers also aren't listening to Kenya's music, and instead they're downloading our podcast and telling their friends about it, and, you know, making comments to us, because I read the comments and I like to know, like, you know, someone told me I was talking too much. I needed to let other people speak, so I tried to tone it down a little bit, you know, but you appreciate hearing what people think, because we're not the only fans of the show.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's a fan of the show, and we want to. Just because you can't be here in the studio doesn't mean you can't have an opinion on
Twitter
what we're talking
hashtags
about.
will say that everyone's watching it.
Exactly.
And you can always call 424-256-1729. That is our number. One more time, 424-256-1729. If you want to try to get in on the conversation. It was cool. The Jen Evelyn thing, you know, it was done. It was finally done, you know, walked away. The coolest thing about it...
Well, but then she walked away, but then after Shaunie went to talk to her, she kind of agreed that she would talk to Evelyn one-on-one, that she didn't really want the peanut gallery there, which I agree, because I feel like, you know, it's hard to have an honest conversation if you have someone in the back, like, just ready to kind of, like, which would be Tammy.
That's so annoying,
And, you know, Tammy, of course, then has her opinion, and I'm going to tell you got here, and you didn't come out, like...
No, I know you're going to get to Shaunie speaking with Jen. My only point with that was it just felt good for it to be the end. Like, even whatever new problems happen, if we get a season 5, whatever, it felt good for that to
we're gonna get a season 5.
Sort of be the end of it. And I really enjoyed, like, the song. It was Sarah Jaffe, or I hope I'm saying that correctly, Halfway Right. I thought it was cool. I mean, I like the way VH1 incorporates the music. Yeah. So it makes it almost does make you feel like you're watching the scripted shows a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm just by myself on that one. Anyway, so yes, you want to talk about Shaunie. Do we like the way she did that? Do we like the way she addressed Jen? I mean...
Oh, when Shaunie went to her room?
Yeah.
I mean, to tell you the truth, I don't like much that Shaunie's doing of late.
Yeah.
I don't...
Ooh, those are fighting words.
Yeah, no, honestly. I mean, Shaunie, and especially at the end, we'll get to that, depicts herself as a classy, you know, she's playing the middle. Are you really playing the middle? You're going to Jen and saying, you know, this is why Evelyn's attacking you, because of tweets. Really? That's why she's running across the table and smashing, even if it is, even if Jen is instigating her on Twitter.
Right.
When did she talk to Evelyn and say, you're not acting like adult? Because, you know, Shaunie said that. She's like, I told both of them that they both need to act like adults. We missed that. You must have cut that out of the show.
Well, that might have been, maybe that was when they were on the boat talking about Keisha and recapping that whole incident. But yeah, Shaunie, because she is such good friends with Evelyn, she never I don't feel like she ever fully puts her in her place. She has no problem checking Jen and being like, listen, you need to confront this situation and handle it. But she doesn't really say that to Evelyn.
Or even if she does, it's different, and it feels like employee possibly when she's telling it to Jen.
I think that people are scared of Evelyn. They don't want to lose her friendship, or they don't want her to turn on her, so they tread very lightly.
Right.
And you're a grown adult, and if you're gonna go at Jen and say, okay, this is what you're doing wrong, do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, so.
It's just
so there
funny.
was a bias we saw.
And it's funny because then it's like Tammy and Shaunie don't understand why Jen doesn't run out to at least say hello to them. But it's like when you are fighting with somebody and these two are your wingmen for most of the time, why would you want to go put yourself out there to them? Because you've made it clear where your loyalty lies, which is to Evelyn, which is cool. She's entitled to, that opinion and who she wants to hang out with. But kind of understand where Jen is coming from as well in this situation.
Where is she coming from with the Jen objective? Is it because this is kind of like Shaunie's production? It's her baby of some sort.
Completely.
And Jen,
I'm not starting to destroy the brand.
Yeah, you're not gonna come in here. Could it be that?
I think a little bit. Shaunie is getting a lot of slack, and VH1, Shed Media, all that, and I think Jen is really talking about the negative portrayal and what they're doing, and Shaunie's kind of lay off the media, lay off the tweets, and it is a little self-interested because at the end of the day, what is a tweet? Everyone can say whatever they want.
I know I'm not surprised, you guys, but I am sort of surprised on how much conversation we have on the show while we're watching, not us talking, but what the girls say on the show, that has to do with tweeting and blogging. It just really is taking over everything. Even us doing our after show, people tweet us I think somebody hit me the other day thinking the two of you were on the next season or something. It's just some weird stuff that happens a lot.
Social media is very powerful.
It's very powerful, and it's funny because
what value did you take it at?
Well, I mean, I think you have to kind of take it for what it is, and you do have to kind of realize the power of it, because you can tweet out anything and you could delete it, but there's going to be that one person, whether it's a blog or a fan or someone, they're going to take that screenshot because they know, they're like, did they really just say that? And then it can't go away from there. And it's I was reading in a newspaper or magazine the other day that in the recent cases of divorce, a large portion, I want to say 75%,
it's
Facebook is listed
Get out of here,
as
really?
a cause for the divorce. And I mean,
not bad sex. Okay. Gosh.
Facebook.
Life is really changing.
Not being broke.
Facebook and Twitter can mess up your whole life, apparently.
These girls' entire 14-year friendship.
It's true, because people are taking it as news. And that's the thing. People don't understand, okay, these are just people's opinions. And so people are used to going online and going to CNN, going to whatever, CBS.
Yeah.
I do a little internship with them.
There you go.
But, and people...
Shameless plug.
But people don't realize Twitter, Facebook, these are opinions. So they shouldn't be taking this so seriously. But it is really powerful.
I wonder what...
it is a powerful thing, because even though, when I used to work at MTV, behind the scenes, when we had interns come in, I looked at their Facebook profile pages, and it gets it, and it's. I'm not saying I should. I have pictures on Facebook that I probably shouldn't have up there, but it's
those are the ones we enjoy.
It does. It gives you. You look at it and you're like, oh, so this kid is out every night doing this, and this. It's just, it does have power to it, and even I have a little sister. You have to. You have to know what's appropriate to put out there, and you have to be careful with that kind of stuff, because it can come back and bite you in the ass.
Completely, and that is what is Jen so wrong for holding her private business private. I don't think that's being fake. Just because I'm not talking about who I'm sleeping with or this and that, they're trying to act like, oh, you're being fake. You're trying to pretend like you're perfect. She's a grown woman, and
she doesn't. You don't. Some people are private, even though you're in the reality spotlight. You are private, so that
And just because Evelyn has no problem unpacking, what she told to Chad, she's like, I unpacked my baggage. I had a lot of baggage. I unpacked it.
What was the one episode where it was between being a hoe and being loose? I mean, just
But not everybody,
ahead,
is comfortable. Not everybody's comfortable just putting all their cards on the table.
I'm not. Yeah,
and
it's
exactly. That's a personal preference. It's almost like if you outed someone for being gay. It's just, it's not your business to put out there.
Yeah.
It's not your word or news to spread.
Yeah.
So, you know, I get it. And she's like angry because Jen said they don't mess with the same kind of guys. And she, you know, has had sex with this athlete in Vegas, maybe unprotected. She had sex with him when she was with Eric. In the meantime, I want to know who this guy is, really, so we could just add another name to the basketball wife little caption that they put up every week. But, you know, you just can't do that to people.
Right,
but then also, Ocho Cinco is a different breed of person. So no matter whether the person might be a footballer, it's probably still different types of guys. And Ocho Cinco is a media, I don't want to say
media, he gets his media attention.
And I think
he likes it.
And that's what Jennifer had a problem with.
I want you to continue to talk about Chad Ochocinco, but I do also want to say he is a media, we're saying whore, but as well as a big video game player. We've seen that.
Yes.
And the way that you want to get hooked up with AfterBuzz, because, you know, when I'm working in the booth, you know, 45 shows, myself and Marissa and Phil and Kevin and everybody, we get, because we're so locked into the online thing, you know about it because you have tons of webisodes online as well. We get a lot of offers that come to us. So my thing is just to tell you guys right now, we'll call it the chat room. I'm going to talk to the chat room and let you guys know if you want to get your 15-day free trial for video games, you'll go to gamefly.com/AfterBuzzTV. Super simple to do that. Gamefly.com. You've heard of the website 100 times, but do the /AfterBuzzTV. Sometimes people were getting confused. Oh, it's /AfterBuzz. Gamefly.com/AfterBuzzTV. Over 8,000 games on there.
Wow.
It's for the
You can
Wii.
rent them. It's like Netflix for video games.
Yeah. So I mean, this is like get your 15-day free trial. That's how I would do it. You know, if I'm a big video gamer. Are you two big, huge video gamers?
I mean, I play FIFA soccer.
Yeah,
That's
it's like I
probably
am,
about
but
it,
I'm also like a super fan of these TV shows. So it's like balancing your time. You know.
I have a Wii, but I'm not too much into video games.
Yeah.
But just as much as we were talking about, people are obsessed with Twitter, Facebook. People are obsessed with video games.
Oh, totally.
Like,
Grown
they're
men.
killing like the box office. Movies are outdated. Video games is where it's at. So it's probably the best place. To
And the
get them.
graphics in these video games,
Right.
Like
So
anymore. Like when I
realistic.
see people playing them, I'm like, dang, that looks so real.
I'm wondering if there's gonna be the next VH1 reality show about people playing video games and they're like exciting but yet maybe unexciting lives. I don't know.
I think there was a True Life.
Exactly.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
True Life. I'm a gamer.
MTV did it. Okay, cool. So that basically brings us around to we finally get to see my Royce. You know, I like Royce. You guys don't like her. She laid into Tammy a little bit, not even in a bad way. I thought she was completely cool with what she did. Tammy hated it.
I don't dislike Royce. I do, you know, this season I feel like because Royce doesn't want to be involved in the drama and the cattiness and the craziness, that she doesn't have, you know, an overly exciting storyline.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and she can't talk about her baby daddy because he's got a gag order.
Yeah.
And then, you know, she talked about Desmond and, you know, the work she's doing. But yeah, she made her return and her and Tammy sat down over some delicious looking ceviche. And, you know, she wanted to talk about what happened in Tahiti, which she obviously heard. She spoke to Keisha. We saw that little flash of, you know, Keisha downloading her on what happened. And, you know, you know how I feel on the whole Tammy Keisha situation. So yeah, I agree with her. And I've been saying it. I don't understand why Tammy gets mad that, you know, Keisha talked to Royce about the situation because now Tammy is sitting down with Royce to talk about the situation. Right. Like they all talk about each other behind each other's backs. That's how, you know, the producers set these shot lists up. I mean, it's like, you guys get in this fight. Now you guys are going to go to lunch and talk about this fight. And then she's going to go to lunch with this person to talk about her perspective on the fight. Like, Tammy, you can't get mad.
And then say what happened at that dinner. Like, I mean, that's why Susie's a gold mine for this show, you know?
Oh, Susie and her big mouth.
I always wonder, like, who are the Susie fans of the world? I mean, we just don't happen to be.
The thing I liked about this episode, too, is because I do kind of think that Susie is a crocodile. Because she, like, you know, she's very, like, sneaky and sly, and she goes both ways. And then she was when Jen and Kenya were leaving the resort after, you know, Jen tried to have the conversation with Evelyn. It still didn't go anywhere, and they're leaving. And then there's Susie in the water watching Susie is always around at the right times for some reason. I don't know how if that's planned. If that girl doesn't,
I would even think like, oh, is it edited that way? Like they just show a shot of her near them or whatever. Like I always kind of suspect those types of things. No, in the voiceover, you know, in the the confessional or whatnot, she's like saying, I saw him and I got nervous and I didn't want to talk to them, and
so I snuck down like a crocodile, so she could take it all in and then go back and report to the rest of the pack, you know.
Because she knows that's the only reason they value her. Like,
but
she
I'm
knows.
wondering what happened to her friendship with Jen. She went there.
She's gonna still be friends with Jen.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, really?
Because even when Jen said, when she was talking to Kenya, she was like, I don't have a problem with Tammy and Shaunie. Do you remember that? And she didn't mention Susie because Susie was showing mad shade when Jen walked up to all of them sitting there. No one said hello. Yeah. Unless that was edited out. And Susie was just looking on her like, oh, Jen was crazy. And I'm like, at a certain standpoint, you don't want anything to do with it. But one, either get up and walk away. Yeah. Because it's none of your business.
I mean, we've seen Susie do it the right way, I would say, when the girls wanted to go on the yacht. And she said, well, I'm going to be here for Jen. You know, we never really, so, you know.
I don't know if they have a problem with each other or it's just because Susie's like, for lack of a better word, a non-motherfucking factor. That, you know, she's just kind of like, she knows what Susie is. Like, she can compartmentalize her relationship with her and be like, you know what, Susie, it is what it is. We're always going to be fine because that's just how it is. But, like, she knows, like, I can't trust her. I can't divulge any information to her because, of course, then she is going to go back to the other girls and then just, you know, chat it up. I don't know if – I feel like the only reason she omitted the name when she was talking to Kenya was because Tammy and Shaunie had been so adamant about they also had a problem with her since she got to Tahiti, since she didn't come and say hello to them, you know, and where Susie was like, you know, it wasn't that, but I don't know.
Susie, probably not all of our favorites, really. I mean, she's really, but I mean, she has to be on the show.
And I can't say that Royce isn't my favorite. It's just that I don't know. I never liked her from the first couple of seasons, so I just figured, why start really now?
Follow her that strong on the first couple, and I just always appreciate some of the words she says on these last couple ones. Yeah, but she's goofy too. I get it.
No,
I mean,
and she was really real with Tammy, and I don't understand why Tammy is so pissed off at her now, saying that friendship is probably over.
Gosh, you can't say nothing to Tammy.
But that's the thing. Just because your friend is real with you, and just like you were wrong in this situation, that ends a friendship. And you're talking about you guys are loyal women and things like that. So everyone's just supposed to agree with whatever you say.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, a friend isn't supposed to just be like your yes man. You could pay people for that.
That's what
acquaintances
Fallon always says that when she's sitting here. She's like, if I'm around my girls or whatever, I'm going to tell them. Not even in a bad way, but just
But I didn't think
Tammy was gonna get crazy. Like,
and anyone who watched the show, like, you saw Tammy act a fool. Like, she did. Like, she took it to a level in Tahiti that it didn't have to be taken to. And like, if Tammy watching that episode didn't like have that revelation for herself, she's straight up
she did when
crazier
she was
than
watching it, but probably not when she was meeting with Royce, because she did say, "Oh, she's bringing up stuff that I said when I was angry, so that doesn't count." So,
but what because
you were angry,
you talk about like when Tammy watches the show and how she reacts. You guys know who I want to watch the show and get their reaction. It's the therapist, because I want her to be like, this woman lied to me, because you could tell any story when you're in your own session, because they're there to have your back or whatever. But that is who Twitter world. Can you guys like tweet whoever this woman is? I forget her name at this point, but let's tweet her around and have her call us at some point, because that's the opinion I want to see.
But I think Tammy thinks she's working on her anger management just because she didn't hit her,
yeah,
or just because the next day she sat and felt bad about it for 2 minutes, and it's just like you can't take back what you do. Exactly. Even if you come out on Twitter once you watch it and say, "Oh, I apologize to my castmates," that doesn't take back what you do.
I mean, Tammy, we really like her, and we think she could go on to acting. She's done some type of acting, or whatever, or manage her daughters. But it's just really at this point, we're going back to David Real World, and she's giggling with them, and then it got too far. Everything becomes too far for her. She needs to buy Maria Menounos's everyday.
Guide to life.
Every girl's guide to getting yourself together to life.
Well, and because the thing is, even like, and bringing it back to when they were in Tahiti and Jen came down and sat with the group while they were all laying out, Tammy did put her 2 cents in, and she said, I'm good friends with Jamie, who owns, is the editor at Sister to Sister magazine, and I have the entire Foster Brown. I have the entire transcript of your conversation with her, Jen. So I know what you said. Tammy, why do you have that? I know. Like, it has nothing to do with you. And if Jamie's a friend of yours, like Tammy,
now
cool,
you've
but like
her out too.
Yeah, now you put her in a spot, because why is Tammy, she handing people's interviews over?
Do you have our transcript of every show we've done too? I mean, that's like you put in time. Your people put in time.
Yeah,
your Glam Squad, your cousin, she puts in time.
And I just I don't get it. Like, and I don't understand why Tammy can say whatever she wants, but the second anybody just disagrees, it turns into a problem. Yeah.
The only part that I thought Jen went wrong though was that exact point. Why did you go and say, "Oh, I haven't done any interviews"? You know what I'm saying? You know,
Well,
you
maybe
did.
No, she needs to fess up too.
And that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, they keep on saying, "Oh, you don't own up to anything you do," and that's
Yeah.
where sometimes people go wrong.
And they do have a point there.
Yeah.
Right, like, you
Yeah.
know, Jen, just like, you don't have anything to hide. Be straight up. Yeah, I
Yeah.
did interviews. I want to talk about it because she can't talk to any of the other girls besides Kenya, maybe.
That's it. And yeah, not even Keisha. Yeah, well, maybe a little. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, was there anything else to talk about within the Tahiti dinner? Because then they jump over to the Miami dinner, and
Well,
it's,
that's where Royce and Tammy sat down, was in Miami
yeah.
once
Well,
they
yeah,
were back.
no, we're definitely already there. But you had brought back up the
Yeah,
Tammy part.
I know. You know, I just
It was like the moment of changes. We're back in Miami. Our circle's smaller.
yeah, the only thing I had to say after the Tahiti dinner is it's clear that Evelyn still isn't over this friendship, and you
Like
know, 'cause-
she's willing to take it back, but on her conditions, right? Is that what you're kind of
right.
getting?
Like,
I
she
felt
really
that a little bit.
expected after that conversation with Jen for Jen to apologize. When she mentioned that, I was like, no, Evelyn, you're delusional now.
Yeah.
'Cause she
but
said,
they both should apologize. It's not, and that's the thing that cracks me up, is because she's mad at Jennifer for not owning up to you know what she's done wrong, but Evelyn's done a lot of crazy stuff. Evelyn jumped off the table at her, and she
But it
hit
doesn't
her with
matter.
her purse
She
at
owns
Shaunie's.
up to all of it.
Yeah, but she may own up to it, but she could apologize to
Clutch bag and
Jennifer,
all.
and then maybe Jennifer could apologize to her, say, okay, I am Evelyn. I'm sorry I said all these things about Chad. I'm sorry I tweeted, wrote a blog.
She
And then
said
maybe
sorry about
Evelyn
that, though.
can say, okay, I'm sorry for,
Sure.
physically trying to fight you. They're both wrong.
Jen's
Yeah.
apologized for all that, and that's why Jen is like,
But I do think-
and it's Evelyn doesn't like the way it's like Evelyn has to
It's
have the
not good
control of the way.
enough.
So the way they have to do it is like write each other letters or something, with no one else reading them
And
on a
you-
desolate island.
And you
somewhere.
know that they're both upset because Jennifer, like, you could see when she was sitting at that chair and Evelyn was like, okay, I'm done with this.
You're
you
done,
could
like-
go. Like, you could see behind her sunglasses, she was
course.
getting choked up. She was starting to cry. And Evelyn, obviously, earlier when she was screaming at her, then she breaks down into tears. So, there's obviously a part of them that of 14 years of friendship, they do want to, have that again, but neither of them can, make the strides to bring them back
I don't-
together and make it happen.
I don't think Jen wants the friendship anymore, and I think that's why Evelyn's mad.
gets her more riled
Evelyn's
up.
mad
Yeah.
that, like, how come she doesn't care about me? And she keeps on bringing it up, and it's over.
It's
now,
hurtful,
hopefully.
and then
Yeah.
it's attack mode. So they're in the dinner, and then Tammy's telling everybody, "I don't think me and Royce could be friends again."
in
so it's
Miami.
just
Mhm.
it's just like making things
Once-
bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, we go from the Tammy and Royce meeting in Miami to then the girls'
Now
sort
talking
of
about
final
that,
meeting, final
Shaunie
dinner,
says
which
things are changing in our lives, and Tammy says, "I'm going to move
just
to
the
LA."
four of them.
Yeah.
It's Tammy, Shaunie, Evelyn, and Susie.
Which dinner was it where they said, like, "I love you," and Susie, you're
Susie,
okay.
you
too.
too.
Oh, when, yeah,
So
Evelyn
really,
was
it's
giving her
the
gifts.
three and plus the honorary Susie, who's just
I will say though, VH1, they must have a heck of a deal with Evelyn because they really are pushing. Whether it's like these little side comments here and there, like, I can't believe I'm getting married, or, setting up the Ocho Cinco, Ocho and Ev
TV
spinoff
show.
show, or when, they're at their final dinner in Tahiti and she brings out all of these, her makeup collection for the
E
ladies
by
to have.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
E by Evelyn Lozada. And that's what I mean too, And it is funny because you do it with your friends, but like every chance they can to make a swipe at Jen, they do. Like when
Yeah.
Evelyn's giving them her makeup collection and she's like, Tammy has to point out that this is a collection. This is what happened. There's different shades of
No,
colors.
She
not
there's
said,
just
shades
her,
of
Tammy,
she said
shades.
hers.
as
Yeah,
well.
she even threw in this is by Mac, so it's legit, right? Didn't she say something
Yeah,
like
she
that?
said it's done by Max, so it's legit. But
And
this
Shaunie
is a
was
real.
getting in on it too, and
Yeah.
and that's
Well,
the whole-
Shaunie was antagonizing for
Shaunie is
sure.
getting under your skin from the last couple
Well,
episodes.
yeah, I mean, if you
Yeah.
claim that you're so adult, be an
Oh,
adult.
we should. Yeah, let's get to because now she wants to be an adult.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the only other thing is, yes, Tammy's going to go to Los Angeles.
Yeah,
I wanted to
Tammy-
ask you guys.
Tammy's been in Los Angeles though. That's
all the stuff
fakest
is shot
part.
so long ago, as you know, because you have a friendship with Keisha, and so we kind of were privy to some of the
It's
information.
not
but,
that. It's not too long. I mean, like.
But I mean,
Yeah.
my question. This is just a question. It could be, was this sit down with Shaunie? I'm not going based off the blonde hair or nothing like that. I'm just asking in general. Was this sit down with her pastor? Maybe something that got shot very
Recently?
much. Am I just too much to be
No.
thinking
It
that?
was very recent. I mean, because
Like it's a troubleshooting thing almost because it goes along the lines of all these petitions, right?
oh no, it was. I mean, it was put in there for a reason.
Okay.
whether it is a genuine, sincere concern of Shaunie's or
it makes
it's
her
just
look good.
or it's just what Shed and VH1 kind of needed to do to help like diffuse the drama and you know people's anger surrounding Basketball Wives. But yeah, you know, Shaunie went and sat down with her pastor to sort of talk about the whole situation and it getting out of control because it has gotten to that point, you know. And I don't, you know, this Tahiti trip I feel like was like the last nail in the coffin. I mean, it just really made it realize. And then when they go back to Miami and it's only 4 of them sitting around at dinner because everybody else is just over it or you know doesn't want to be involved.
Exhausted.
And
we're exhausted.
And there's 4 other people. You know, it's half the group, and it's like, I don't know. You know, I think Shaunie should be concerned about what she, you know, how she's being perceived when she goes into these different meetings.
I hate to be negative, but I think Shaunie is just being a little self-interested. She knows that she built a good brand with Basketball Wives, and now it's starting to decline, and she's jumping ship. She's making sure she doesn't go down with the boat. And I think she's just kind of clearly defining her line. I am not like these girls. She did it very sneakily, you know. She's like,
she
I love
totally
these girls
did.
or whatever. But I think she's just looking out for her own back. And
it's not me, you know. They throw in the family dinner with her and her
Right,
5 kids,
exactly.
and she's like,
just trying to portray
she's
herself.
like, you know, I'm
and those
drama.
kids were also on Gamefly.com/AfterBuzz TV as well. I mean, it's just like it's a thing. You're right. She just told.
Yeah, she brings them in. I'm drama free. This is me being a mom.
Yeah, I think she's just thinking beyond this, and she doesn't know how many more seasons there is going to be, and she wants to make sure she doesn't go down.
Well, Evelyn tweeted that there will definitely be a season 5 because someone said that they hope Basketball Wives ended because they hated Evelyn, and she wrote, "Don't watch, hater. We're back." So we know there'll be a season 5.
And if anything, this has got a lot of, you know, everyone riled up, petitions and whatnot. I'm sure Love and Hip Hop Atlanta will go just as big of a what the heck are we seeing on TV that, you know, people will be simmered down by for the next Basketball Wives.
I don't know. You know, VH1 has to make a conscious decision about the content they're putting out. So
it's getting out of hand, you think?
I mean, I think they're only gonna be able to push so many more things because Love and Hip Hop, you know, in New York there was physical violence against one another, so against the women on that show, and then Basketball Wives each season the physicality and, you know, the violence is escalated. So now if you bring it to Atlanta or, you know, this different franchise,
Mob Wives is to Chicago.
But I was about to say, I think that is the brand that they're seeking because Wives, Baseball Wives, all of them.
Baseball Wives got
when
canceled.
you were a kid, did you think that VH1, your VH1 that you would, you know, listen to the music was just what it was?
I didn't watch VH1
you didn't watch
when I was a kid.
Okay, well,
there wasn't anything on there that I wanted to watch.
But I would never thought like the Rodney King and hip hop documentary show would have been on VH1. So like they really are going to a different place.
MTV, BT, all of them from where they originated from.
But I mean, you know, we still watch it, so I mean, you can't be too judgmental. If you're watching it, you're into it for some reason. But you know, this is our form to kind of speak on it. I mean, I'm actually kind of getting into it because, you know, whatever you view, try to be kind with us because we're just giving the way we see it. So let's jump to commercial. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No. What did you have anything to tie in with this? I'd love to hear you talk.
No, I forgot where I was going with that anyways.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to go on Gamefly.com, AfterBuzz TV, and you guys go to commercial. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, what's happening? We are the America's Best Dance Crew ABDC After Show coming to you guys. We watch the show every week just like you, and we go every Friday to the set to interview and talk to the crews behind the scenes and let you know what is happening behind the scenes.
Hey everybody, we are AfterBuzz Mob Wives Edition, the only Mob Wives after show out there. I'm your host, Adrienne Vera, with my lovely co-hosts,
Kevin Undergaro,
Grant Rudder,
Cameron Marston.
You guys can check us out every week. We have a lot of fun. We drink wine. We talk about the show. So check us out. We're also doing the Big Ann Show. So tune into that and Mob Wives Chicago.
Hey guys, what's happening? We are the Game of Thrones AfterBuzz crew. I'm Dave Klein.
Bethany Jaber. Kristen Elizabeth Snyder.
Simone Boyce.
And we come to you every single week live Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Pacific time for we are kings of the Game of Thrones after show. And we have one thing to say. Oh, Shadow Baby. Oh, Shadow Baby. Oh, Shadow Baby.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
Oh, what would you like to buzz about? We, of course, are buzzing about Basketball Wives, the finale episode. It came by pretty quick. Some of those episodes were a little long-winded, but, you know, it just wrapped around. You know, I really get the lame award because I'm like, man, it's NBA playoffs. And Rebecca's probably got all the stats way more than I do because you hold down the whole sports thing. So.
I mean, I like sports. I'm not I like sports and I follow sports, and I'm rooting for OKC all the way. I'm just putting that out there. So, but yeah, I also like.
That's right, Marissa.
I also like the, I like not the drama, but I also like the entertainment side of athletics. It's not like I'm not gonna sit here and list off stats for you, but I'll tell you whose baby mama is getting having problems or what's going on here there.
And there's a lot of it. So I mean,
which is almost like because I know the players don't want to be involved in like a Basketball Wives type show. A lot of them, that's why even Mello with Lala, you barely see him on there. It's just not something they want to be a part of. I mean, but there is so much other stuff besides like these ladies, that you could talk about, you can encompass in a Basketball Wives, franchise without it just being like, oh, I'm gonna hit you because you said this on Twitter. Like
has to change
you could. Yeah. There's more stuff you could talk about, and not even just like what the ladies are doing, because that's not what everyone wants either. They want to know those intimate details. Like they want to know about, like Chris Bosh's baby shower and stuff. Like his
with the other women and these nice houses and maybe
like
on the road. Or,
the real basketball. That's the thing that I always think is funny is because these ladies that are on the show are exes, whether it's ex-girlfriends, ex-wives, ex-fiancés. Yeah. But then like on Lala's show a couple weeks ago, she has her big like makeup Motives by Lala launch in Miami, and she has all the real wives of the Miami Heat players on the boat. It's like Amari Stoudemire's baby mama. Show. It's like Chris Bosh's wife, LeBron's, fiance, like all these women who actually are basketball wives. Well, yeah, because they know it's not going to be a bunch of tomfoolery. Right. Yeah. But yeah, so it's like you see that, and it's like, wait, this show is not called Basketball Wives. This is called Lala's Full Court Life. Yeah. They need to be on Basketball Wives. Yeah. Like, at least try, a little bit. Even if then they do it with their own group of friends and it's not drama, but just, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if people would be interested. I'm interested in that kind of stuff. Like, I think it's funny that I talked earlier this year about Antonio Cromartie from the Jets and how he has 10 kids by 8 baby mamas in 6 different states, and all the baby mamas get along and they want their own show together. I'm not gonna lie. I would watch that because that just sounds crazy. Even if they get along, to have 8 of your baby mamas like doing it. But then like this past week, his current wife, who is pregnant with twins, sent him a text message saying she was going to kill herself. So he's in Miami and he has to call, the police in his town to go talk to her. And turns out she just wrote it to like freak him out and she actually didn't. But it's like, there's all this other drama that people want to see, people want to know about.
We are moving on from Jen and Evelyn. This is what it comes down to.
Yeah, on to the next. Somebody else has to be. And I'm over Tammy and Keisha too. Because we'll have to spice it's not a fair fight.
It'll have to be different for the next season. I keep going off the idea, because Hoops is no longer with Shaq, right? I keep going off.
They are.
They're back together. Yeah, okay, well, I still find a way to throw her in, because I think that could be fun.
Well, and Shaq loves the camera, so I don't know.
Like, or have them do their own, their full court life.
Because Basketball Wives, of course, had the Basketball Wives LA spinoff. Yeah. And that is currently shooting for the second season.
I felt like it was been currently shooting for a long time. I mean, did they go this long usually?
Well, yeah, like, Basketball Wives has been shooting for a minute, because they started around, I want to say like maybe right after the new year or right before a little bit, and then they just kind of wrapped last 2 weekends ago, filming the reunion. So it does span a little bit, and because it's a reality show, but reality is such a interesting term. They go back, like you shoot for this amount of time, and then they go back and have pickups and you voice over stuff. And, there is a lot of work to go into the production. But on Basketball Wives LA, which is shooting right now, there's a new cast member. So we don't know who from the show left last season, and we don't know who is going to be making this big return. Like, if I watched all these different seasons of Basketball Wives, I would not be a new girl. Ever.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
never.
You stand no chance, basically, unless you maybe come in with somebody who already has a little bit of power. It's like a monopoly of it's very weird, you know?
They haven't lasted very long, the new girls.
God, so we don't even know. So you don't even have the stat on who the new person is.
I have no idea. Mom has been the word on who this new girl is, but I'm curious to see. Yeah. I mean, that was, I know Drea's coming back.
Yeah, we know Gloria sat right here, and so she's definitely coming back. And I mean, you don't know how it's going to be edited.
I heard rumors that maybe Amani, who was Steven Jackson's former former fiance that maybe she's not coming back, but I don't know. So it's going to be interesting.
Great. Have you seen her? The
she's been tweeting pictures left and right.
She's been working
They're in Puerto Rico. They're here.
Well, and where I see all these photos is hollyhoops.net, which Rebecca is the creator of that. Well, let's, while she's talking about news, and of course me and Stanley will listen to this great news, so make it happen with our news and gossip.
All right.
TV news.
Well, we only have a little bit of news today. Right. There hasn't been too much craziness going on in the world of Basketball Wives, except that story I said a little bit with Antonio Cromartie from the Jets. Him and his baby mama are having issues. He thought, she thought he was cheating on her, so she sent him these text messages saying she was going to kill herself. When the cops got there, because he was in training camp in Florida, she was just laying in the bed with their kids. But hello, Terica, you married a man who has 10 children by 8 different baby mamas. He's going to cheat on you.
Which girl is that? What is her name?
Terica.
Is that the same girl that's been on like 6 shows already?
She was on E.
She was on E show Candy Girls.
And even before that, she was on like the Wild 'N Out show too, or she's been everywhere. I think. I don't know. It just seems like that name always comes back.
But yeah, so they're having their issue, and then with the ladies of Basketball Wives. So, we make fun of Kenya a lot on this show. Yeah. It's too easy, and
maybe she'll do better next season. No, maybe.
I don't know if she'll be back. TMZ is reporting that her ex-husband, who recently filed for divorce, he actually wants Kenya to pay his bills. So he said that for the longest time he footed her lifestyle and what she was used to doing, and last year he was dropped from the NBA, so now he's just playing basketballs overseas, and he is probably only making around $100,000 a year. So his cash flow is a little short, it's a little dried up, and he says Kenya is making 3 times that being on Basketball Wives, and he feels like he should be getting a cut of what she's making on Basketball Wives, since he is done so much for her over the years. And
so
he did say,
but wasn't that the same argument that Jen's ex had with her, kind of like that he kind of put her on? I mean,
well, he put her on, but he didn't physically go out and seek financial restitution from her, which Charlie Bell, who's Kenya's ex-husband, he used to play for the Golden State Warriors, he's now went and filed papers in court to get some of Kenya's earnings. So who knows how that's going to go. I mean, they definitely have a messy, interesting divorce ahead of them. She supposedly stabbed him with a box cutter in front of their 2 kids. And even though he says he has 6 figures in the bank, $100,000 a year is not cutting it. And now he wants a piece of the Basketball Wives pie. So let's see if he gets it. We don't know. But that's all the real Basketball Wives news. And of course, Evan Ocho, their spinoff show, they've been spotted all around Miami filming. So that's definitely happened. Evelyn confirmed on Twitter that there is going to be a season 5, and everybody else is just kind of doing their own thing.
We
She's
also
just working on some different
Tammy's going to be doing like a Wendy Williams interview, not really.
Tammy is going to be appearing tomorrow on Wendy Williams as like one of the a real life hot topic. So Wendy always gets the juice. So I'm curious to see how that interview goes and what she sort of spills the beans on with that. And then we have the reunion. We have 2 reunion shows to look forward to with these ladies. So it's gonna be interesting.
Will Tammy apologize? I guess we could go right
into
it.
From the previews that we saw, it didn't look like an apology was coming.
And
now
your AfterBuzz
the lights are moving. So this is what we were talking about, everybody.
This is why we need you to go to Amazon.com and click on the AfterBuzz TV logo. Yes.
Because the lights are actually flickering, and Marissa's holding us down, so we appreciate that. So prediction-wise, I just feel like they maybe along the lines of what you kind of had me realize with Tammy. Or both of you guys, like she's just saving her own face kind of thing. Like
Shaunie.
I'm sorry. I feel like Tammy, she'll get crazy on the show, but maybe she's gonna have a breakdown. I feel like I'm going to see that. Like it's like her. I don't know if the sincerity, and I don't know if people are buying it or believing it. Like we want it. We came into the season, and I love Tammy. I came into the season loving Tammy, and then she's going to therapy, so I'm really appreciating that, and still just. Nobody could speak with her,
Right. I think Evelyn more so than Tammy will have that breakdown and be
she cries every episode, so yeah.
But
we see her acknowledge that in the preview, so
I think Tammy, if anything, she's going to be silent.
Yeah.
If she's going to try to not be that crazy Tammy, she's not going to apologize. She's not going to go that far. She will try to keep her mouth shut.
Yeah.
But I think
I don't think she's gonna keep her mouth shut. But I don't think they're gonna let it get to a point of like crazy physicality.
Will she get on the table again like last season?
I don't think so. I mean, there's lawsuits swirling, so they have to be on their best behavior.
Yeah.
And I think what's going to be interesting is how they handle Jen.
Oh.
And I know a lot of people like weeks and weeks ago was like, is Jen going to be there? You know, at least we know now that she's going to be.
They all will be there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they.
Keisha
I mean,
too?
we saw the preview. I know for sure Keisha went. She said, you know, she had said on Twitter if it wasn't contractually obligated, she probably wouldn't. But
Wait,
Tammy
does that
was
mean
the
she's
one.
not coming back? She wouldn't want to do
We
it
don't
another
know.
season?
I mean, we don't. We
Go
don't know.
walk her
I
dog
can't.
and you have your dog and her dog hang out again.
I know.
No, not that we would want
You know,
Keisha to give us the the
The only
information.
thing for her is like, you know, was it worth it?
Yeah.
Is it worth what you've been put through? And that's,
Yeah.
I think, her at this point right now. She's trying to turn a bad situation
Yeah.
into
Right.
something good from this whole.
And with
What is
Keisha,
the price of your sanity?
and with Keisha, like, you know, because you always hear this comment like, oh, they know what they get going into reality TV. But when Keisha called us, you know, she had said she'd been approached to do this several times. So this is not like what she necessarily wanted to do, but she finally just did
And
it. So it's probably very earth-shattering for her.
Yeah, and you know, we definitely see her and Tammy are going to have a conversation
Yeah.
about their conflict on the reunion show. I don't know how it's going to turn out on there. I mean, she hasn't been able to talk too much about it. So we're really going to have to wait and see if 2 full hours of
Yeah.
a reunion and these ladies finally face to face talking it through. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe John Sally is going to be the best mediator ever.
I mean, you
and he's going to
and
be able to
Stanley
bridge the
would've been
gap.
better, but
I mean, I agree, but
you know, I mean, you guys invested plenty of hours watching the show, you know.
15 hours. Hello.
So it's
15
like,
episodes, 15 hours.
All right, well, where can we follow you guys online? And that's another thing I wanted to say to our online people, you know, iTunes. One thing to realize is, yes, we're going to criticize, or even you online will criticize. That gets real crazy there. But, like, these women are putting their lives to some degree out there. So, you know, watch
Respect
it, have
them
fun
for
with
that.
it, and before you get too, I mean, gosh, I just don't like the idea that Tammy had to come off Twitter because her daughters were being attacked. Like, that's like, I know they're grown more, a little more. It just sucks. I mean, aren't you working in a production now where you're along the lines of reality television, and we all have done it, so we see it. You know, it's kind of rough.
Listen, and everybody does it. I mean, last week was the Billboard Music Awards in Vegas, and Chrissy Teigen, who is John Legend's girlfriend, tweeted about Chris Brown lip syncing, and all of his fans were sending her death threats. And I mean, you know, people, like, we're fans of the show, no matter what. Like, we're fans of Basketball Wives. We love the show. We talk crap about the girls, but we also love them. You have to know it's all relative. Like, and we all have strong opinions, but you should never want or wish bad or ill will on anyone, just because it will. I firmly believe in karma, and it'll come back, and that's what all these ladies have to watch out for.
How can you be mad at Tammy for doing that, and then you're doing the same thing? So
and Tammy,
well, I don't know. A death threat's almost worse than anything. You know, it's like,
so people,
especially if you're doing it behind the face of a Twitter account, like that's, you know, it's.
Take it easy. Please don't.
I'd rather do it.
Tweets.
I'd rather have it behind Twitter than in my face, because gosh knows what could happen then.
Well, you're right. The first thing is I want to say thank you to our amazing producer Marissa. She does such a great job. We obviously have two reunions, but I did want to say for the finale, and we're missing our spicy Mari, our Lauren with the phone call, and of course Fallon as well. But they'll do Single Ladies,
and hopefully they'll be back for our reunion wrap up.
Well,
shows.
I think you, Rebecca, you did call it that Fallon has to wear a bikini, so I think this is really going to entice lots of people to watch our final 2 episodes. We might even drink too. I'm not sure. Depends. I mean, I'm on shift.
I think we should dress up because all the ladies always look so lovely at the reunion. So we should wear.
Does that mean I have to wear like a tie too or something? Like, do I have to look
like John Sally? You have to wear your best John Sally suit.
Okay. All right.
Just in your size.
I'll buy it on AfterBuzzTV.com with the Amazon link. All right. Well, if you want to continue to talk with me about Basketball Wives, I have a vested interest in it. We've talked and communicated. You would follow me at Ronnie Jr Media, or go to my blog, which is randomlyronniejr.com, where there is no sense to be made. It's just whatever I feel like posting. So it's yes.
Yeah, and if you guys want to keep talking about anything that happens in Hollywood reality or sports, the entertainment side of sports, you can follow me at Rebecca Prince TV. You could go to the Holly Hoops blog, which is hollyhoops.net. And then if you need music news, I can also give you that too at stereotude.com. So, just keep us posted. This is what we do. We live and breathe this. And so
she barely sleeps, and then also you're on like 4 hours every night too. So
yeah, I'm doing all sorts of things. But you can find me at www.nadiastanley.com, and then on Twitter I just started tweeting. So make sure you follow me. I'll follow you back at your girl Stanley.
Yeah, she's Instagrammed and all that stuff. All right, well, thank you guys, Basketball Wives. Like I said, I will ask you guys this show and a couple of our other shows too, but just like spread our iTunes page around, because it's like a full page that sits there with all of our shows. So whatever one you want want to plug into. Telling a friend is kind of what Rebecca was saying, but in the worlds of telling a friend, it's retweet. There you go. That's what it is.
Retweet and, you know, rate and comment because we do love to hear what you have to say. Every show.
Yeah, and start tweeting Fallon, you're wearing a bikini next episode because she lost some type of bet. We'll find all that out on the next episode. Thank you, Marissa.
Bye, guys. Thank
AfterBuzz.
you.
Bye.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later. Miss you, Fallon and Marty.
Bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.